Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on the Kindness Project, we talk about Murgh Masala, nostalgia, and the second part of the interview with Jaime Thurston from 52 Lives.
Welcome, my friends, to the Kindness Project. I am joined by two girls who used to be cute, and now there's something entirely different.
How dare you!
It's Sophie Dames. Give me a spud. Joining the podcast. And so Charlotte Dames, give me a spud, joining the podcast.
She's not joining it. She's always in the
Okay.
podcast.
And I'm joined by a man who orders the same curry absolutely every time without fail.
Yeah, it's the one I like. It's the one I like.
Chris Dames!
And we're also joined by the beast from the north. The man, the legend.
With a
The-
bag on his head.
Oh my god, yes!
What bag on his head?
Remember the joke?
The
No.
joke!
What's the
What do you
joke?
call a man with a bag on his head?
Russell!
No, that's not the joke. The joke is, what do you call a man rolling in a pile of leaves? Russell. We're
There's two! What do you call a man with a bag on his head? Russell!
Well, we're
paper
joined
bag.
by a man with a bag on his head, rolling.
Paper.
We're joined by a man with a paper bag on his head, rolling in a pile of leaves. It's right. That's the best intro I've ever done.
No one that
That is-
should be.
What?
What do you call a podcast with no editor?
Kindness Project?
We'll just edit it ourselves, Charlotte, right?
I can't edit.
Oh God!
You can do PowerPoint, so I'm sure you can.
Don't talk about PowerPoint.
You know,
Don't talk about PowerPoint.
would be fantastic.
Oh yeah. No, I bet. I tell you what you
kindness
should
PowerPoint.
do. You should do the Kindness Project PowerPoint.
No.
Do you reckon you could do that? So.
Have you ever thought about a career in city planning?
Look, we talked about it last week on the podcast.
What?
Me and Russell went to a business presentation where the man talked for an hour and a half about what they might do with Romford trams, and it wasn't.
trees.
It wasn't
I just
entertaining.
want to put trees in the
It wasn't
park.
entertaining. So, we've got a proper.
Wait. Remember that time where you told me that once you had a presentation and Charlotte put a jumping frog on
She
every
did.
bit?
She played with my PowerPoint so that there was.
I taught you something new that day. Don't.
Yeah,
don't-
I know, but I was meant to be presenting the day after, and you'd put a jumping frog, and there was a business like that. I was meant to be going into this room full of
You wanted
suits
that
and
coin to
ties.
bounce? The frog made more sense.
Yeah, can you do that? Yeah, can you put bouncing frog on a PowerPoint? Maybe Charlotte can teach her. Maybe Russell can teach her. Maybe David, the town planner, can teach her. I didn't see any bouncing frogs on his.
Bouncing frogs
Oh,
on
no.
PowerPoint.
Maybe you could do a bouncing trees on it.
But
and
you
make
know
her
what?
pop
I
sounds.
didn't realise PowerPoint's quite a good piece of kit,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Me and Charlotte are in the middle of a game.
We're making a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
called Cats. And we're up to the bit where...
Well, on PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can do choose your own
But we-
adventure games on PowerPoint. I didn't.
But
no,
we
knew that.
haven't
I can't remember how to
activated
do
all
it. I
the
used to as
buttons
a
on it
kid.
yet.
All right, you'll get there, I'm
I'll
sure.
figure out how to do it.
So, how do people get in touch with us, Russell?
You didn't know it. You've been listening.
Come on. You're our editor. You're so vital to the podcast, or so you tell us.
Add some flair.
Add some flair. Give
You
it some
can
oomph.
email us at hola, kindness.
He's not doing the H. What is the matter with people and H's? Right, say the word holiday.
Holiday.
Say the word house.
Ass.
Say the word hotel.
Hotel.
Oh, God. This is a load of bollocks.
That'd never be in it. You just chose the wrong name.
I know. I was joking. Hollocks. Sorry.
So,
Horlicks.
you can reach us at holler at the kindness project.co.uk.
.co.uk.
You can reach us on Twitter, Facebook,
Instagram.
We do have an Instagram.
and Instagram at holler.
heart of kindness.
That colour of kindness.
Oh, Russ, that was amazing. That was, oh yes, round of applause. Round of applause. Well deserved, Russ. Well deserved. So, would you like the question of the podcast?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, baby.
The question. Oh, I like this. I like this family dynamic. I'm loving Sophie really properly getting involved in the podcast because she'd been on before, but it was last year, and she just shouted at the mic, didn't she? Really.
Yeah.
She's actually getting involved in the conversation now. So, last week's question in the podcast was. Oh no, this week's question in the podcast is. Shh. What do you get really nostalgic about? What do you get nostalgic about?
Baby bells. No, I'm just kidding.
Baby bills are still around.
I know, but I don't eat them anymore. CBeebies.
Sea babies.
I used to watch
Balamori.
Oh, Balamori.
What is the story in Balamori?
Balamori.
Everybody wants to know.
Literally plum, and I'll tell you what I've done.
No, you're just a plum. Don't worry about the PC.
Balamori, would you like to know?
Oh, that was amazing. You can actually visit the island of Balamori.
Balamori, I
It's
know.
not called that. I can't remember. I think it's something else. I can't remember. But you can visit Balamori.
No, I used to watch CBeebies even when I was like 12. I just stopped watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I used to get up at like 6 and CBBC didn't come on until
Russ,
7.
what do you get nostalgic about?
I don't.
Oh, thanks for your input.
Stone.
So, what do you get? I mean, you're 7, so you've not got that much of a life to look back on. But what do you miss?
I one earlier though.
But when I was like 3, and we got Dexter, and he was like really small.
So you get nostalgic
and
about that?
cute.
Okay.
And
I
he has
remember when
loads
you
of
used to fit in my
pictures.
arm.
Fair enough.
Wow.
So you get nostalgic about that.
No, you
I
just
get
sit
no.
and
I reckon I get nostalgic about old 80s games, retro games. I get nostalgic about.
Oh yeah, we have a retro gaming console.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
And
We like that.
it's got Pong on it.
Yeah, so we
And
play.
that volleyball game.
Oh, that volleyball game is
And it's
amazing.
got Sonic on it.
So retro games, and for some weird reason, I get nostalgic about.
Having here.
Pardon?
I can't remember that far back.
I remember the afro.
I remember when I had hair. It was so far back.
You went to that party and they were
He's
like,
not coming back on the podcast, all right? Can we just say that?
do you remember that time you went to that party and they were like things that we're nostalgic about? Someone took a picture of your bald patch.
True. Things that existed 20 years ago but don't now, and somebody tweeted a photo of my bald patch saying Chris's hair. Yeah. So my hair, I'm nostalgic about. The other thing I'm nostalgic about is there used to be, I think it still exists actually, but I haven't been in it for years, a burger chain called Wimpy, right?
Oh,
It does.
And I think it was.
it does.
I think it was awful back then, but I remember going to my mate John. You know, like Cookie. So Cookie is a regular contributor on the podcast. I know you'll be listening. I remember going to a Wimpy. I think it was John's 8th or 9th birthday. Going into the Wimpy, and he ordered a bender in a bun.
Oh.
Now that is the worst name for a burger ever, isn't it?
Now it's just offensive.
It is quite offensive.
What's a
and then
Duh.
I think it was I can't remember what was in the
a hot
bender.
dog.
Yeah, it was a hot dog in a bun, wasn't it?
It was just a hot
Yeah, yeah. But they had all these funky names for it, and then they had a banana in chocolate sauce.
Brown Derby.
They called it brown derby.
Still do.
Again,
They still do.
a awful name for a dessert. So no wonder that McDonald's got the monopoly quicker than Wimpy, because they were just not good at.
He's still around.
It is still around. When was the last time you went in a Wimpy?
A year ago or so.
Okay.
Stunk like a whale. Now they're refurbishing.
Stunk like a wow.
Stunk like all hell.
Oh, right,
Now
okay.
they're refurbishing the place. They're changing it, I think.
So, when have you ever been in a Wimpy?
Yeah, she was with me.
Oh, was I there?
No, me, mum, and Soph.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So when you go Wimpy, I don't get invited, no?
You weren't coming. It was when I did the schools. It was a performance evening for the school.
Okay, okay.
And mum was dropping me off, And we were like, let's get dinner beforehand. It was Nando's or Wimpy, and Nando's had a line out the door, and Wimpy had like 5 spare tables.
Of course it did, because it's a Wimpy. Of course it had spare tables. Nando, like, I'd queue up.
Save the sheep.
No,
Is it Romford?
Yeah, it was. And I had to. I had to be there in half an hour, and they were like, yeah, the line for Nando's is an hour.
No, I know. But even so, I'd starve rather than going to Wimpy. Honestly.
I couldn't eat
Someone
in there.
needs to be on the river.
Russ, have you ever been in a Wimpy?
No,
Ever?
I don't think I have, no.
You've never had a Wimpy?
No, we used to go to McDonald's a lot, because Mummy worked there.
She did, yeah. So my nanny Anne used to work in McDonald's, so we went in there quite a lot.
I only go a couple of places now.
Where'd you go now? Where'd you go?
I go with the spoons.
Oh, I could put the spoons on.
I go,
I'll tell you what, top class with the spoons. Look.
I go my local Chinese, which is the East Garden in Swaffham.
Right, we're not advertising on the pod. What did you just do? Why did you just advertise your local Chinese?
There are
Right.
Chinese is available.
Send them an invoice. Right. Other Chineses are available. Yeah, we can say that. But I still want to send them an invoice. Other Chineses are available, not as good.
What about Witherspoons? We ain't sending them an invoice.
Send Tim Martin an invoice. All right? We've mentioned them. That is all of the things that we get nostalgic about. We'd like to know what you're nostalgic about. Let's get on with the show. So, we've got the second part of the interview, ladies and Russell. I should have just said ladies. With Jaime Thurston, who runs the amazing 52 Lives. Now, she does incredible work week in, week out, and we continue to work with her, continue to talk to her about the work that she does, together with asking her some of now our world famous questions of the podcast.
Ooh.
Shall we listen?
Yeah.
But that's the weird thing, Jamie, isn't it? Because Sophie got bored about 2 hours in. She went off and did something else. She did some colouring or something. I'm still there an hour later trying to build this fairground. And I'm like, I'm playing with Lego on my own as a 40-year-old man. I don't know whether... yeah.
If they want me to play with them, I'm always quite glad when it's Lego because I like.
Yeah, I do love the creative element of it. But the challenge I had with Sophie is she sort of turned into a mini supervisor. So when I tried to build something independently, she came back and went, "That's not what the instructions say, Dad." So I don't know how to win in this situation. Tell me, I feel like we've turned this into the Lego project as opposed to the Kindness project, but we'll get back on track, I'm sure. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the favourite stories of the people you've helped with 52 Lives.
Gosh, there's so many. There's one in particular actually that I was really nervous about at the time. I heard about a lady. She's an asylum seeker.
Okay.
And she was pregnant and homeless, and she was 8 months pregnant, and which I've been told isn't allowed to happen. You're supposed to, I think it's by a certain weeks of pregnancy, no matter what your situation, you're supposed to be given some kind of accommodation.
Right.
But she didn't have the right paperwork, she'd fallen through the cracks, she was just on her own, and the reason she was pregnant was she had been raped in this country.
Right.
Yeah, so we wanted to help her, and I set up a wish list, an Amazon wish list, and I filled it with baby things. I asked her what she needed, and she said just a pram. That was her first baby, so I don't think she really completely
knew what she needed. Yeah.
And as we were just about to help her, she was given a room in a shared house.
Okay.
So she had somewhere to put things at least. And I set up an Amazon wish list, probably about 100 things on it. And I was a bit nervous about that story. I was worried that, I know asylum can be a bit of a controversial issue in this country. And I was nervous that people wouldn't want to help her. I thought people might think, well, why doesn't she just go back to her own country, or any of those things that people can sometimes come out with.
Okay.
And I just worried that at the end of the week I might have to buy all the things myself. I didn't want to let her down, but I was nervous. And I had the list, and I went back on later to check how many items had been bought, and there was nothing there, and I thought I'd made a mistake. I was thinking, have I not made the list long? Have I put things in the and everything had been bought within the first hour.
Amazing, love it.
And she was so overwhelmed. I got to go and meet her actually in the hospital because her baby came early, and her baby was there wrapped in blankets that we had. And that one was wonderful.
Yeah, you know what? I think when it comes to individual stories, and I think that's where something like 52 Lives helps so much. These are people who need help. I think sometimes with conversations around asylum and immigration, it's such a depersonalised argument. And in reality, these are people who are fleeing from war or famine or whatever it may be, who just need a bit of help. And it's great that you helped out. Have you got another one of your favourites?
There's somebody we helped recently that really, of course, whenever I was trying to tell people about his story the week that we were doing it, I kept on choking. It was one that really warmed my heart. He was a young boy, about 10 years old, and he's cross-eyed, and he's just recently been diagnosed with autism as well.
Okay.
And he was really severely bullied at school. By some older boys. He got so severely bullied that they took him out of school. He was being homeschooled. At home, he wet his pants a lot because he just had so much anxiety as a result of this bullying.
Yeah.
I found out when I was speaking to Mum, because originally we were just going to send him some nice cards and things from some of the school's projects.
Yeah.
And then when I was speaking to his mum, I found out a bit more about the situation, and he was sharing a single bed with his two older brothers.
How old were the brothers?
One was a teenager. Actually, no, one was older, one was younger. There was a teenager, a 10-year-old, and I think an 8-year-old, all sharing a single bed. Because they were bunks, but they'd broken.
Right.
They needed new carpet, really, because he looked himself a lot. She said the carpet's in quite a bad state, but they just don't have very much money. One of the parents was looking after him and schooling him full time. The other parent had stopped working for a little while because he was caring for his ill father.
Right.
They were just in a really terrible circumstance.
Yeah.
So we put out requests. She just wanted cards for him and something to cheer him up a bit. But I was trying to raise funds to buy them new beds. We needed, I think I said, £500 or something like that. And we ended up with, I think, almost £5,000 we raised with them. So we recarpeted the whole house. We bought them all new beds, new bedding, redone their bedrooms. We've sent them away on a little mini break as well.
Love it.
So, and lots of, it was just Christmas, so he got a lot of Christmas presents.
And help me understand, when you get donations for projects, do you use a sort of GoFundMe page? How do the donations come in?
Before we were a registered charity, we used to use pages like GoFundMe, but now the money comes into the charity.
Direct, yeah, sure.
We put gift aid on it, and we give the people, all the gift aid as well goes on the people who are helping.
Yeah. So, and then, what's the average size of the donation? Is it loads of people giving small amounts, or how is it? What's the shape of how much people give?
The average donation, I've been doing our accounts recently actually, so I said about £25, I think.
Okay.
But that feels slightly skewed because I know a lot of people give £100, and every now and then there's one person that gives maybe 500 or 1,000, so that kind of skews it a bit. But we do have a lot of little donations come in, and often with little notes from people saying, "I'm so sorry, I can't give more.
Yeah.
I can't." And I try not to, it's hard sometimes, but I try not to single out our big donors and give them a special thanks. It's hard sometimes because if somebody has, bought the whole thing that we need, I like to thank them. But for some of our donors that give £1 or £2, they can't afford it. And to them, that's a huge amount of money. So I try not to thank people who give a lot of money more than I thank people who give maybe a pound.
Yeah, it's interesting, but that donations are always relative, aren't they? So as you say, if you're in a position where you've got £10 spare, £5 is a lot of money compared to somebody where £5,000 might not be. So you don't want to discourage people who are making an impact, and actually it makes that smaller donation makes a bigger impact in their life. So completely get that. How do requests for help into 52 Lives come in, and how do you decide? Because I'd imagine there's more good causes out there that you could potentially help that you'd love to that you can't.
I read through, so we have a nominations form on our website, and people fill in a form and nominate somebody who needs help. And I read through them all at the beginning of each week. How
many do you get?
It varies so much. Like some weeks I have maybe 5.
Okay.
And some weeks I might have 200. It depends on, I think sometimes if the link's being put in some kind of Facebook group, or if we've been in the media a bit, then we suddenly get an influx.
Spike, yeah.
We do keep nominations for up to a year, so if you nominate in a certain week, it doesn't mean we'll only help you in that week.
Okay.
I go back over a year's worth, but honestly, I think it's the best and worst few hours of my week reading through the nominations. So many sad stories of people going through difficult times, but also I know that we're going to be able to help. There is often, even when there's a lot, there is often a few that just stand out, and I try and make it something that's achievable within a week. So, if somebody needs £100,000, then we can't really help
Probably
with that.
Not doable, yeah.
And just things that I think that people will be able to either give goods or services or donations.
And what's the mixture between sort of goods and financial reward or services? Well, how's that? Is it typically more money or more staff or more help? How's it split on the site?
I think it's a pretty even split between goods and money.
Okay.
If we need goods, we can set up this. Sometimes if the goods that the people need, if either we can get a better deal using a waitlist, or if it's something that's quite then we tend to get donations and we buy it ourselves.
And tell me about what the future looks like for you personally and for 52 Lives. What have you got planned for the future?
For me personally...
You're happy, Jamie. You don't need to worry.
We have our charity strategy day coming up soon, and I have to really push myself to think about the strategic plan of where I want to be. So I'm just quite happy.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah.
I don't like planning that much in advance, I guess. But,
Okay.
This year we are focusing quite a lot on expanding the School of Kindness. We're going to launch a new website for schools.
Okay.
And the idea behind that is going to be enabling schools to help schools. So maybe schools with more to help schools that maybe struggle.
Yeah. Because now I know where we are, that a lot of the schools are academies now, right? So certainly if one school does that, potentially the other schools in that group can do it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, I think we just hear a lot about schools where they don't have, for example, shoes. The families can't afford. We bought quite a lot of school shoes before for children that couldn't afford shoes. Some of the people we helped through the Christmas project are nominated by schools where they say a lot of their children are coming from families in poverty. And we work with other schools who are, fundraising for their 5th minibuses.
Yeah.
When we go around and do all these workshops in schools, we work in state schools and private schools. Whenever we leave, they always say, what else can we do? How else can we help? And we just want to give them a way to help beyond the workshop, I guess. So we're trying to think with a way for them to do that.
So like a framework of how to be kind to their community or fellow schools or stuff like that.
Yeah, so they'll be able to come to this website and choose things to help with. They'll be able to say, we're going to help with that project. We're going to help buy school shoes for those.
Cool. Love that idea. When's that launching? Do you know?
No, I'm working on it at the moment.
No pressure. You're happy. Don't worry. It's all good.
By the time this gets aired, it'll be launched.
Yeah. Well, maybe by the time the podcast, and if it is, we'll make sure I give it a shout out and I'll put in the show notes. So I'll make sure that's done. Should we?
.org.uk. That's the website. I've got the website address.
What's the website?
Allofkindness.org.uk.
Love it. Okay, so we'll make sure we share that, but we'll check whether it's live before we send it out. And it's not on my question list, but as we're both fans of David Hamilton's book, what's your favourite reason he gives for being kind?
Gosh. I just find the whole science of kindness incredible.
Yeah.
But I think the help is high. The fact that when you're kind to someone, or even when you witness kindness or give kindness, receive, give, or witness kindness, you get that elevated feeling.
Yeah, the endorphin buzz, don't you? Yeah.
It releases all these chemicals that give you a natural high, which is incredible. And I think, especially if you're working with children in schools, and there's so much chat around now about mental health and well-being, and I think maybe we overcomplicate it. Get everyone to be kind to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, just help somebody else, and it helps yourself. And I know there's stories, there's stories in David's book that talk about that. So that's really good. So, just before we share with people where they can find out more about you and 52 Lives. I don't know if you remember last time we did the podcast. We do a thing every week on our podcast where we ask our listeners a non-kindness related question. It's called Question of the Podcast, obvious name. And what I want to do is ask you some of those questions. So the first one is, what's your favourite use of an egg?
Pancakes.
Oh, God. That's an amazing choice. What are we having in the pancakes, Jamie? What are we including?
Mine are very good and healthy. The kids hate them. It's normally whole wheat flour, oat milk, and an egg.
Okay.
No sugar.
Fruit? Are we having strawberries in the pancakes or not?
Well, on top of the pancakes, maybe.
Okay, maybe. Okay, honey?
Pardon?
Any honey on there or not?
No.
Okay, fair enough. I would have. My one would have been covered in sugar and chocolate and everything. If you could be any character from one of your favourite books, who would you choose?
I can't think. All I'm reading at the moment is Harry Potter with my daughter, Hermione.
Oh, it's amazing, Harry Potter. Charlotte, my oldest, loves Harry Potter. But I tell you one thing we're reading together. It's an amazing book. It's a book called The Giver by Lois Lowry. It's like a sci-fi dystopian world future book. It's really, really good. Maybe not for 10, but certainly when they get a bit older, it's amazing. That's
how long it is since I've read an adult's book. I'm reading to my children. All I could think of was David Williams characters.
But you know what? That's one of the things that I look forward to every Christmas now. A David Williams dramatisation. It's something we all sit down as a family and enjoy. Let me give you another one. Who's the best Muppet?
The cook.
Oh, yes, yeah, the Swedish chef. Yeah, very good. Okay, let me give you another. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. 2 seconds. Let me find a good one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever had?
There's a lot. There's a lot I think of it. I guess there's a phrase that I heard once that really stuck with me, and that was, I'm probably quoting it badly. It was a Chinese proverb. A bit of fragrance always clings to the hand that gives you roses.
Okay.
It really stuck with me. I've got it on a picture on the wall in my bathroom, because this just means obviously you can't give something to someone can't give kindness to somebody without a little bit of it staying with you.
I like it a lot. What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh, Highlander.
What, the original one?
I don't know, my husband made me watch this film a couple of weeks ago, and he was raving about it. It's like the best film from my childhood ever. So I think maybe it had been built up too much. I don't think I'd watched about 20 minutes.
See, I don't know whether I saw it years ago and I remember enjoying it, but I don't know whether it's one of those things where it's tainted with nostalgia, so you're good. Yeah, but I did show Sophie the Goonies the other day. Have you
We watched that recently.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, isn't it? So we watched the Goonies. So she's 7 and she felt it was quite violent, funny enough, because there are elements in it that are, but I loved it. I sat there watching it all the way through. What's your favourite app?
Favourite app? I need to look at my phone. Yeah, it's on my phone. The one that I use all the time at the moment it's called Think Dirty.
Okay.
It sounds really awful, but it's not pornographic.
Jamie, this is a family podcast. What does Think Dirty do?
You scan products and it tells you if they're toxic or good for you. I scan like all of we're having a bit of a clear out of all of my makeup products and products with have less chemicals in the house. And you scan a product and it rates it for you and tells you.
Oh, I like it a lot. And
not very fun app, is it?
no, it's not fun, but it's useful all the same. It's all good. And my last one is. Last two, actually, the two recent ones. Who would you swap lives with for a week?
One of my children.
I know. The kids have great amounts of fun, don't they? What one would you choose?
Honestly, I think my daughter. I'd swap lives with my daughter for a week. I really would like to. She's at an age where I feel like I'm losing a bit of connection with her, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I would really like to live from her perspective for a bit. I think it would make me a much better mum.
Yeah, no, sounds like a really good answer. And last one, if you could do any job for a day and have the skills and the knowledge and the attributes to do it really well, but you only do it for a day, what job would you choose?
I don't know what job this is, but the people who do free diving, where you just go down under the water for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Whatever job it is, I'd like to do that.
So without any scuba equipment, without any, just sort of as deep as you can, right?
I think it would be amazing, but I definitely don't have the temperament to do it.
Gotcha. Are you a diver then? Is that why you do that?
No, I just like to be, I think. But I was brought up in Australia. I just think about sharks all the time whenever I'm in the water.
I had the opportunity, years ago I was in South Africa, I had the opportunity to go shark diving. And I lost my nerve, and I sort of regret doing that now, because I would have loved to do that, but it can stay on the list for a future year.
My husband went shark diving, and he has a lot of scars on his torso from his operations.
Okay.
He was there, and somebody asked him, because obviously he was getting undressed to do shark diving, and some tourists were there and asked him where he got his scars from, and he said last time the cage didn't.
Oh God! Yeah, was it somebody waiting to go in the cage? Because potentially that had put me off a bit. Yeah. Don't worry, they don't bite that hard. It's fine. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on and chatting to us at the Kindness Project. I remember now why I wanted you to come on so much, because I've really enjoyed our chat. Sorry?
Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. And let's keep in touch about the Lego at the very least, because if I might need some help sort of trying to work out one of Sophie's future plans. Where can people find out more about you and 52 Lives?
The best place is the website 52-lives.org, and we're on most social media. Probably not the really new young ones, because I do.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and the three.
Okay, but Facebook's the best platform, is it? Because that's where the engagement goes on. Okay, cool. That's amazing. Thank you for your time again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, that was the last part of Jaime Thurston. What did you think of the interview?
It was good.
Good. Let's go on with the show.
Tis the end!
It's getting louder every week. Right, come on, give it a go. Right.
Don't break the mic!
Right. So, last week...
Tis the end.
Right, are you done? Do you want to do it tis the end? Or not? Right.
Come on,
That's-
Russ, give it a go.
Russell.
Russell!
Oh, tis the end.
Right. Well, we need to get Russell on more often. He's hilarious. Well, better than Dave. That's one thing. Right. So, what we've got, last week's question in the podcast this week was one that, again, loads of people commented on. What makes you really proud about your kids? Got a little tear in my eye because I'm really proud of you two, you know.
I don't have any
Aw,
kids.
I am super proud.
gee, shucks, old man.
I'm
Thanks
super
a lot.
proud of you, and I'm super proud of you because you are amazing people.
Well, I don't have any kids, so I can't answer.
What makes you proud about your kids, Charlotte?
Well, they are doing so well, and they like to stay out of trouble, and I get loads of hugs, so it's great.
Okay, can I just say
don't have
this?
any kids
As we're talking
either.
about hugs, right? I'd like to say I am proud of Charlotte. She's amazing. She does great stuff, but she gives the weirdest hug in the world, doesn't she?
Yeah. So.
They can't see
Mate,
you,
this is
so-
a podcast, so if you can't do visuals, darling.
So-
But it is a weird hug.
So you duck down, then you put your arms straight, and then you waddle towards them.
Let's do the time hop again. Let's do the Charlotte hug again.
So it's more of a sumo wrestle.
It is a bit of a sumo wrestle.
I'm not the right height for hugs.
Okay. So there are a lot of people who are suitably.
History.
You two finish? Should we get on with the podcast? Yeah? Right, we're getting on with the
Sorry,
podcast. Right,
yeah,
we had loads of people comment on how proud they were of their kids and the reasons why. Damien Clyburn said he's proud of his kids just for being them. No other words needed.
I've got some unique kids, ain't that enough?
Dan Gaylor said, learning to say morning to everyone he sees down the street and waving at them. He's only 2 years old, but when you see it, it can make people smile every time. I love that. I absolutely love that. Gemma Siddle said, my 4-year-old gave her favourite toy to a crying toddler on a flight at the weekend to make him feel better. Gemma, I love it. Absolutely love it. So that was it. Twitter. Oh, no. Ian at Money Alive said, my daughter does voluntary work at a food bank every Friday night following long weeks of work. Now, I'll tell you what I love about this one. People are proud of their kids for acts of kindness. I love that. Absolutely love that. And also, Ian at Money Live said, my daughter's been published for the first time, so he's clearly a very proud dad at the minute. Matt showed us a certificate that Ellis received. He was Star of the Day. Can I have a Star of the Day certificate? I'd like one of them. And yeah, so that was it. That was it from Twitter.
After this, I'm gonna make Dad Star of the Day certificate.
And then
But it's for
in terms of what kids have done recently to make you proud, we've got a few other comments. Karina Murray said, my autistic 3-year-old makes on average 9-word sentences. Her peers are expected to make 4-word sentences. Russell Dame says, I don't have kids, but my nieces and nephews always make me proud in their own way. Who are they when they're around there? Charlotte and Sophie are more amazing every time I see them. And James is doing well at school, and Thomas has an attitude on him, but he's grown into an amazing young man. Stevie from the gym made a comment. Steve from the gym. My mate Steve Dann said, I'm going to be a granddad in September. That ain't too bad. Sarah Lou said, Tom doing his GCSE exams for a whole week with gastroenteritis, and Jem staying in her job and getting the year group she wanted. Dave Forsdyke has got some pretty impressive kids. My eldest has just finished a master's degree at Cambridge. My second has just completed in a rowing competition. My third has been studying diligently for exams, and my fourth has won a netball tournament. But regardless of all these achievements, I'll always be proud of my babies. They're amazing. Oh, Dave's a good bloke. Heidi said, the teenager has a new job. The little dude recently moved to his silver awarding time stables, and little Diva got a certificate for class star of the half term just before the holidays. Mummy said something.
Oh God!
So Mummy's made a comment. Charlotte makes me proud every day. She's never afraid to be herself and always looks out for others. Hashtag Mama Bear. And as for Soph, she's becoming a lovely little lady with a wicked sense of humour. I didn't realise you had a wicked sense of humour. I thought you had.
About the guy that sits on the couch.
I thought you had a wicked sense of humour, but no, you haven't. You've got a wicked sense of humour. Don't. Nick Matthews just said, just being called Dad is enough for me. And Mia Flanagan said, my son is finishing his GCSEs this week, but he cooked me lunch on Monday and said he'll cook me lunch every day during the summer holidays. I'm so proud of him, but just to watch him grow and maturing into a gorgeous young man. I've been a bit tearful lately, but that's just happy emotional tears. Sarah Robinson said, all 3 make me proud daily, but my eldest has just announced his wedding date. And John Cook said, Sparky ate his dinner like a good boy. So he's not really a child, John, but we'll let you have it anyway. So
he's a good dog.
He's a good dog. So that's all of the answers for this week. As we've got 4 of us on the podcast this week, who wants to say bye first?
me.
Go on then. I'll say bye next. Bye. Do you want to say bye, Charlotte?
Russ, I want to have the last laugh.
Hey, bye-bye, dear.
Charlotte, would you like to say bye?
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you next time.
Bye.